Salve. We're on lesson 4. I'm going to be reading Neptune's little speech here. Tantae novos generis tenuit fiducia vestri. Iam caelum terramque meo sine numine venti misceret tantas audatis tolere moles. Do that part first. So he, remember, is addressing the winds who've been causing trouble. And he addresses them by asking a question. He says, Tanta fiducia. And ne is, remember, is a question mark. Ne, okay? Tantane is tanta. Is there... has so great, tanta, so great, a trust or a confidence, fiducia, has so great a confidence, tenuit, taken hold of vos, of you. So great of confidence of what? We get some genitives describing what that confidence is in. Has so great a confidence of vestri generis. Vestri generis has so great a confidence of your origin or your race, okay, taken hold of you. Remember, vos can be the nominative form or the accusative form, vos. Has so great a confidence of your origin or your race taken hold, tenuit, of you. This is a perfect tense. And the winds were supposed to have, a divine sort of a lineage. Far has a little note about that, I think. And then we go to Iam caelum terramque meo sine numine venti. He says, and miscere et tantas audatis et tolere moles. He says, do you winds, and this is a vocative here, okay, vocative. Vocative is when we're directly addressing someone or something. Use the vocative. It's not a subject. It's not a subject. Here the subject is in the audatis. It's vos, you, okay. Do you winds dare? Audatus. This is not audiatus, the word here. This is audatus. Think of our English words audacity and audacious. Do you dare? Okay. Do you dare winds? And remember, you got to take that. You got to remember that there's a vos in there. Let me write it in there for us. Got to remember there's vos, or which is you all, you plural, right? That audatus, M-O-S-T, mus tis, tis is the second person plural, unt, okay? Do you dare, winds, to miscere, to mix up? I had that word earlier, miscere. That's a verb, but remember, audatus is the main verb, okay? Do you dare to mix up, and then the miscere is an infinitive, mix up the caelum and terram, the land, the heaven and the land. And remember this, we got this yam in here too. So, do you winds dare now to mix up the sky and the land? They're mixed up because the storm threw everything into confusion, right? Sine, without, meo numine, my divine authority, and these are ablatives that go with the preposition sine. Meo numine, let's go together. Without my divine authority, et tantas aut tolere moles, and then we take this last part also with audatus. So, do you dare first to mix up the sky and the land without my divine authority, right? My deity, spirit of deity, and you got to take audatus again. And do you dare to tolerate? to lift, this is another infinitive, to lift, moles tanta, such great burdens, or such great weights. I guess such great masses or weights of confusion, or even, physical things, I would say, because they swept up the boats and things like that. Do you dare to, do all this? So one more time. Has such a great confidence of your origin, your race, taken hold of you? Question. Do you winds dare, audatus, to now mix up the sky and the land without my divine authority? And do you dare, here's the and, do you dare to lift such great weight or masses? Now let's continue the next sentence. Quos ego, sed motos praestat componere fluctus. What's this break right here about? Well, this was a sentence that didn't get finished because Neptune was so angry, he just couldn't even finish his sentence. Literally, it says, you got to put in a wos. You, and he's talking about the winds, you whom I, he's going to say something like, you whom I rule, or you whom I am irritated with, or whatever. We don't know. He was so upset, he didn't say anything. So think of this as, like when a parent's so upset, why, I'm going to, yeah, and then they can't finish what they're going to say. You get in here, I'm going to, what are you doing? Something like that. Or, Homer, when he's upset at Bart, why you little, and then we don't know what the rest, he doesn't fill it in, right? So, quos ego, and we call this a passiopaesis. So it's a figure of speech called a passiopaesis. And it's when there's a cutting off. Literally, it means a cutting off of the sentence. He says, why, I oughta, but you whom I, and then he decides to say this sentence instead. But it is praestat. You got to do an it as your subject here. This is what we call an impersonal, sort of use of this impersonal. Sorry, I can't write very well. I don't have my stylus. That looks terrible. Sorry. That's an impersonal. It is better. It surpasses. It is better to componere, to ease the motos fluctus. Okay, the worked up waves, or the waves that have been disturbed, have been worked up. Okay, so you don't really have a subject here. The subject is impersonal. It's it. Some impersonal verbs are like plac it, it pleases, or lick it, it is not allowed. They're called impersonal verbs, and they just take this third person singular form here. So it is better to ease the stirred up waves, or the waves that have been stirred up. So he was going to, lay into him, but then he said, oh, wait, we better just calm everything down first. I'll deal with you guys later. And so that's what we decided to do. Post mihi non simili poena commissa luetis. He says, afterwards, you will luetis, you will atone. And we got wos as the subject again. So now he's going back, to wos. We used wos in this sentence. Here he started using wos, but it wasn't stated. Now he's back to wos, y'all. So you all will atone for your commissa, for your crimes, your commissa, with a non simile poena, and this is an ablative phrase here, with a not similar penalty. Well, what does that mean? Afterwards, you will atone to me for your crimes with a not similar penalty, meaning a different sort of penalty, unlike the crimes. Or I'm thinking, you're going to atone for the crimes with a lot bigger penalty than the crimes were. It's going to be a lot bigger. And And this is a figure of speech that we call litotes, and it's when you use understatement to sound more subtle and indirect about something that is really has a harsher reality. Maybe, you could translate this as, afterwards you will atone to me for your crimes with a hardly similar punishment. Dun dun dun, meaning I'm not telling you what it is, but just know it's not going to be similar, it's going to be bigger. We use this kind of figure of speech in our speech a lot in regular, everyday conversations. You could say, oh, that dinner wasn't bad. Well, that implies it wasn't very good either, right? But we don't want to say that because that sounds a little impolite. Or we're just implying something that we didn't say explicitly, and the listener has to fill in the blank. So this is kind of similar. You're going to atone for your crimes with a not similar punishment. You think about that. You think about what kind of punishment is in store for you. It's going to be something worse. Okay, so we're going to leave it there, and we'll pick it up on the next lines. Wale.